Hi, my name's Hannah Benedict.
And I am Jessi Sikander, and this week we are talking about how do we build resiliency in our older kids.
Yeah. And something that we have been talking about. So last week, if you joined us, we were talking about the importance of that foundational relationship with kids and, being, just showing up. And we were talking about how like it's the same with older kids and it just grows, like it looks different and expands. And so we were talking about some of those different ways that it's growing and expanding. And I thought you had some really good thoughts on that, Jessi.
Yeah, so for those of you that are joining us just for the first time, resiliency is this ability to bounce back, to go down, hit the ground, and get back up eventually and keep moving forward. And I think with kids, last week we talked about the importance of connection. So with little kids, that it can be as simple as making time to connect with your kiddo every day or once a week. That alone can build resiliency. And it's the same as they get older, and except that we want to start having them be connected to more people than just us. We want them to know that there's a lot of people out there that are secure people, that are safe people that are in their corner, that are cheering them on, that can add a lot into their life and maybe speak into their lives in ways that we can't. And so it's just expanding that connections. It's keeping them connected to you, but also then adding in more people to their circles, um, so that they have more connection out there.
Yeah. And as you were saying that, I think too, it's helping them explore what, um, like, how do I know a person's safe?
Yeah.
And like, what are those things within relationship that, that, that are healthy, which then leads me to that second like idea that to do that, I must know that like to be good in relationship, which is a really big part of resiliency. I got to know that I'm worthy of being in relationship.
Mm.
Um, and so that like that's a big self-esteem piece. So I think that's another piece of like as parents, how do we build in that like one, I can do hard things, two, like I'm worthy of love and belonging, three, people value me. um, you know, I was reading something, it was talking about like when let them know like, hey, this person's been talking about you, this is what they said,
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know.
It can be as simple as that. Of
Yeah.
yeah, like I talked to your grandma and she mentioned X, Y, or Z about you, or
Like people
um,
sent me this email like
yeah.
telling me about like how awesome you did on that presentation. Um,
Hmm.
like way to, I bet that feels really good to know that you put the hard work in and, we're successful. Like highlighting that, yeah, it was hard, but you came through and you were successful.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think another important thing is teaching kids, our older kids especially, um, how to ask for help, or
Mm,
how to like wave that white flag and say like I'm not okay and I need help.
yeah.
And that is so much a modeling behavior from
I
us.
was just gonna say, like, that comes from me sometimes saying, like, I'm really having a hard time right now and I need help. Uh,
Hmm.
and it's like, I think sometimes we think about that as like, man, like, I can't keep it together any longer. It could be like, I don't, like I have tried really hard to fix this, I'm just thinking about a couple months ago, we had a laundry room door that was giving me issues. And finally I was like, I've done everything I know. I need to ask for help. And
Yeah.
like, and that was, I was like, I should be able to fix this. But then modeling that, like I've tried, and it's okay for me to say, like, man, this is beyond what I know to do.
Hmm. Exactly. And I think holding that space for them so that we want to give our kids the space to be able to say, like, this is really hard. I can't do this right now. Or I need help in order to do this. Rather than feeling that they need to perform in a certain way or need to hide something from us because they can't do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard because oftentimes those conversations take place at the most inopportune times in my life.
Right.
right? When they really need me and they need help and they're melting down, it's never usually convenient for me. Um, but it's holding that space and saying, wow, that must be really hard, or I can see how you're really frustrated, and this is what maybe we can do different, or I'm really proud of you for trying to do it this way, or just starting to have those conversations and giving them the vocabulary for what's happening inside of
Um, using the word how instead of what. Not what went wrong. How can I help?
Yeah.
What do you know, like, how is this, how could asking for help, you know, be better? But focusing on what went wrong, uh, where can we learn from that? How can we learn from what didn't work?
Yeah.
That's a really big one. You know, I think it was in my adult life that I finally got the like memo that mistakes can be learned from. They're not a place of shame. Um, and that was huge.
That's huge. And isn't it interesting how quickly our kids go to shame
Oh,
with
yeah.
when they make mistakes? Like, which I would hope that I've never taught my kids they need to be ashamed of their mistakes, but they still are.
Yeah. 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 One of the things that like I often will say is like, you tried. What did we learn? Now we get to try something different. All that told us was that didn't work. And I'll even like if it can be something that's like, man, maybe they were, you know, beating on their brother because, you know, or whatever. I'll be like, whoa, 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 that's not working. What do we need to do different? Um, you know, so it's like you tried something. Now what do you do different?
Yeah, I think that's such a an important thing, and it also means that we have to let our kids fail sometimes.
Ooh. Oh,
In order to build resiliency. There's so many interesting articles around raising teacup children. So kids that leave our home and are so easily chipped by the world outside of them. And that we're not actually doing them any good if we haven't let them fail and haven't let them experience some hard times, and taught them how to stand in the midst of those storms.
and it's so hard when they're crying, when they're like breaking down, and you're in the midst of it going like, oh, I could just do this one thing and make it all better for them. Um, it's so hard.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I sometimes remind myself it's so hard right now. And if I don't do it right now, it will be 1,000 times harder later.
Yes. Yeah, we want to give them the tools to successfully handle the world and the points in life that are going to let them down, um, as they are growing and leaving our households.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have lots of resources for you on our website if you'd like some more resources about building resiliency, managing big emotions, like what happens when they, like all those feelings that they have maybe when things aren't going well. And as parents, when we're going, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So we've got a class specifically on that, big emotions and what parents can do. And so lots of really practical tools and knowledge that can help. So if you head to our website, actionparenting.org, you can find all the information there. And we'll be back next week talking about us as parents and what does that look like to build resiliency in ourselves, and so that we can continue to model it for our kids.